What's up?
Hi.
Tyler, Keith here, plugged on. We're here with probably one of the most anticipated albums of 2017, very early in the year here, and that is Kreator with their new album, Gods of Violence. It's their 14th album on Nuclear Blast Records, and this is their first album in a while, actually.
Since
2012 is when Phantom Antichrist came out, which is, we've said it a lot. It's a phenomenal album. So to follow up something like that, it's a pretty tall task. We reviewed the title track a while ago. Very much enjoyed it. But now the whole thing is here. What'd you think?
I went into this, because the natural thing is to be like, I hope that they do, something better than Phantom Antichrist. And that's a tall order. That album is, maybe with the exception of the last two songs, especially the last one. I forgot, until I re-listened to Phantom Antichrist, I forgot that Until Our Paths Cross Again was on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that album is great. And I feel like this album, especially for the first 7 songs, over the first half of the album, I think this album, it does a good job of at least matching the kind of, writing that they had on Phantom Antichrist. The title track is one of my favorite Kreator songs ever written. It's probably one of the most straight-up Kreator songs they've written, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but it kind of hits off all the check boxes. And the other song that I really like a lot is Army of Storms. That's probably my second favorite song in this whole album. And Satan is Real and Totalitarian Terror, which are songs they already put out, are both good. World War Now is good, and Hail to the Hordes is kind of reminds me of one of the slower songs from Phantom Antichrist, why am I forgetting what the song's called? It'll come back to me later. But
Flood into Fire. Or whatever.
That's it, from Flood into Fire. Thank you. That's the song I'm thinking of. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of that. The only thing is that the last 4 songs kind of lose me a little bit. They're still good. They're not bad songs. It's just that they don't have that magic that the first part of the album has. The Lion with Eagle Wings is just kind of a weird song. Fallen Brother's good. I do like that song. Not as much as the first half of the album, but I do like Fallen Brother. Side by Sides, again, it's weird, and it has one of those what's the word I'm looking for? Proactive or whatever messages to it. Talks about standing together to fight injustice and stuff like that. And Death Becomes My Light is it's good. I like the opening riff and the harmony that comes in, when the band kicks in. I really enjoy that from that song. But for the most part, yeah, the last 4 songs just don't cut it. But I think everything else works. The riffs, again, the verse riff to Gods of Violence is one of my favorite riffs that Kreator's. Basically, I could basically list a lot of things from Gods of Violence that's my favorite that Kreator's ever done. But World War Now, I really like the middle section. That middle section of that song's cool. The drums fit and they work, and it's awesome for the entirety of the whole album. And I really like the solos. I honestly think even on some of the later tracks, I like the solos on this album maybe even a little bit more than I do on Phantom Antichrist. Because Phantom Antichrist, the solos are a part of the song, you know what I mean? Whereas this is I feel like they almost stand out a little bit more. Personal opinion. Vocally, Miley Petroza, I think, does a phenomenal job, doing, what he does best. 'Cause it's very similar to Phantom Antichrist, and I really like Totalitarian Terror. I like the chorus of that song a lot, and Army of Storms is another song that I thoroughly enjoy his vocals to. I just think that this is the best yet most realistic thing that Kreator could have done following Phantom Antichrist. I think is the best way to sum up my feelings on this album, because this album is really good, just a couple of okay songs towards the end.
Yeah, I feel that I pretty much agree with everything Keith said. This is a really strong album, and it's really strong right out of the gate. I just feel it kind of runs out of gas by the end. Where Phantom Antichrist, to me, every song is still, even today, just a standout for every single track on there. I feel this album just more fits into where, Violent Revolution, Enemy of God, Hordes of Chaos, those albums fit, but maybe even still a cut above them. Since the 21st century's, come around, Kreator's kind of been on a roll. They put out a lot of good albums. If I had to put, all 5 of those albums in order, it would go Phantom Antichrist, and probably this one, to be honest with you. Not saying the other ones are bad at all, but I do think this album is solid. World War Now and Totalitarian Terror have a lot of thrashiness to it. Not that the other ones don't, but those 2 songs just sound fucking evil. Especially the chorus of Totalitarian Terror. Like, the thrashiness of that chorus with the, with Miley's vocals, the guitar, and the drums, it just sounds just so in your face. It's fantastic. Then you have, the track Satan is Real, which to me is a corny song. It's a good song. It's a catchy song. Other than that, it's a little corny, to be honest with you. It's very Slayer-ish. It's probably the closest thing that Kreator would get to Slayer, which I think when it comes to thrash bands, and especially like old school classic thrash bands, those 2 bands are kind of similar. They have similar styles to them. But let's be real, Kreator's better than everyone.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I felt with that song. But that's a song where the chorus will just be stuck in your head all damn day, and that combined with that guitar work, it's phenomenal. I too think the solo work on here is great. It was such a step up on Phantom Antichrist. That was one thing, that just really sets that album apart, in my opinion, compared to other Kreator albums, is that just the solo work is so much better. It's memorable, and that's awesome. It's not, just wank on your guitar Slayer stuff that just isn't exciting to listen to. And I feel the same way on here. One thing I like about Kreator is that, I really enjoy their stuff in the 80s. I think, it's fantastic. It's pure thrash. It's so angry. It's so in your face. They have that style still to them today, but they're, they bring in outside things in a way, like, setting the mood with acoustic guitar intros, which I think is really cool. I love how Gods of Violence starts. Just small stuff like that I just feel adds more character to their albums. So I was going to say, more like melodic stuff with the guitars, I think is awesome. Harmonizing parts of solos or an awesome lead during the chorus. That type of stuff is awesome. And I just feel they've gotten better and better and better at doing that over time. Miley Petroza sounds fantastic. After, doing it all this time, just screaming all the time. He just sounds really good. And yeah, he is in ways almost like a Tom Araya, one-dimensional. But I feel he's just so much better at doing it. I feel his screams, they have more range to them. Every once in a while he might sing something, or he kind of talks things out at certain points. And it just, everything feels like it works with him. I will say, I do agree with Keith. I think, from the 8th track to the end, I can't tell you how any of them go, to be honest with you. But I can tell you how every song before that goes.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this album's a classic. Maybe it's not. It still could be. I don't know. But yeah, like I was listening to Lion with Eagle Wings, and Miley's vocals there, I just don't, he sounds fine, but the vocals just, I don't know. And then I don't, the chorus riff, I was not really digging that chorus riff. It's just, I don't know. That song just lost me. And then the rest, I've listened to, that part of the album a couple times now since it came out. And every time I just kind of zone out, where with the first 7 songs, I'm just completely into it and jump in the pit. I would jump in the pit, actually. But yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's just got... It's a riff fest. It's got awesome solos. It's got hooks all over the place in terms of choruses and vocals. It'll get stuck in your head. You know, it sounds heavy. It sounds mean. It's awesome. It's Kreator. And some of these riffs on here, you know, you just listen to them, you're like, that's a Kreator riff. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody does riffs like that, you know, in, you know, Gods of Violence or World War Now or Totalitarian Terror. It's like, none of those riffs would be written except by Kreator. You know? It's just awesome. They you know, it's a nice, good album to listen to. Especially if you're a thrash fan. It's just been a lot of good thrash albums from old school bands recently, except for Slayer.
Yeah.
But we're supposed, you know, Overkill's in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we'll see how that stacks up. And then not long after that, we get new Wordbringer Havoc albums, and yeah,
it's nice. It just seems like all these bands are like active. Well, it's nice they're all actively putting out, but it seems like you're not like waiting a while. Whereas like a couple years ago, I felt like you're waiting a lot for a new thrash album to come out from like a established band. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thrash has had a good, you know,
last
revival over the last, you know, 5, 6 years, you could say. So yeah, I think we both enjoy this album. What would you give it?
I'd probably give it either an 8 or an 8.5. I feel like it's great, but that's all the higher I can give it personally.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. An 8.5 out of 10 is just right on the money to me. I think those last 4 songs is the only thing that really holds it back.
Honestly, if those last 4 songs are better, I might even like this album as much as Phantom Antichrist.
I agree.
Like, the writing is great. I mean, as I've already said once, Gods of Violence, I think, is at least definitely in my top 3 Kreator songs ever.
Yeah.
And I just really, you know, so...
Yeah. And, I mean, those last 4 songs might stick with you, you know, and that's cool. They just don't stick with us. And to me, I just don't think they are the same quality as the first 7 tracks. So, yeah. Check out Gods of Violence by Kreator. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. See you later.